Welcome to the Steve Reeve Podcast with the best moments from the past week and a few things that didn't make it to air. Tuesday.
I still wish that we had an outdoor pool here in town. I want it here again, and through the years on and off, the argument has hit me again, and it did this weekend. Am I actively doing anything about it other than yelling into the sky? No, I am not, but I still want it. We did have one, for those who remember from way back, Centennial Pool. Bigger pools on the inside because there was an indoor facility, and then there was also a pool out back to enjoy during the summertime. It closed a long time ago, and currently it's an A&W parking lot. But, I also used to live very close to a summer-only pool in Edmonton, in the Mill Creek Ravine as well. So, no indoor facility for the winter months, still managed to stay open. It seems very possible to me. It's a thing. I've wanted one to come back here in the Wood Buffalo area for years, but now I have a new reason. That new reason is, adding it to the pile, you can have end-of-the-season doggy dips for charity before the pool facility closes for hibernation for the winter. Isn't that just... why are we doing this? That's a reason enough right there, let alone the pool itself.
It's time for Cruz Music News with Steve Reeve.
And starting off the news headlines, we got some Green Day, even maybe got some coming up before the show is done, but they played a track live for the first time in 27 years. That'll be Haushinka from the Nimrod album, and why they haven't played it, I couldn't tell you, but they're on their Saviors tour right now and celebrating their latest album. But going into the deep-cut back catalog just to surprise people on the show, saying how Shinka lives from Berkeley to Santiago. Blur in the news. It's been very, very good times for Britpop bands once again lately. They have announced a 30th anniversary reissue on vinyl of their album, The Great Escape, with all kinds of extra stuff, rare B-sides, bonuses, demos, the whole thing. That's going to originally arrived September 11th in 1995. This time around going to arrive this year, December 12th, via Parlophone, pre-order available. Will Smith in the news. We don't get to hear him on Cruise Radio, but he has been in the news because of an AI-generated video where there's clearly some AI-augmented fans with blurry faces, too many fingers, arms that don't seem to belong to anybody. He's responded to backlash over that AI-generated video with an even more AI-generated video, this time turning people in the audience's heads into cats. The world is made up and nothing makes sense anymore, and that's it for your music news. On the timeline, we saw R.I.P. Graham Greene showing up, a fantastic Canadian actor of the Oneida First Nation. My memory goes all the way back to Dances with Wolves. I think many people do. And it's a bit of a touchstone, which is a fantastic movie. Got him an Oscar nomination early on in his career. In truth, though, what I was watching back then with Graham Greene in it was like Dudley the Dragon, for instance. But he has been popping up on screens my entire life, literally, start to current, including right up to the first season of The Last of Us and showing up on Reservation Dogs as well. And even since then, the stuff that I haven't even seen, he's at a pile of credits, and according to IMDb, has 8 projects that are still slated to come out throughout this year and next. Absolutely prolific. He died in Toronto at the age of 73.
Wednesday.
This large language model known as ChatGPT that has been largely unrestrained is now going to add a little bit more restraint, at least in the form of parental controls. In the near future, I'm hearing in the next month or two, I guess good thing, so that parents can have a little bit more control or a little bit more ability to even observe what is going on. Are these things being abused for doing assignments at school? Otherwise, a lot of questions that I'm sure parents and teachers and everybody has these days now that we have access at our fingertips to all this AI. But ChatGPT adding parental controls means don't worry. Your kids can show you how it all works after they teach you how to use ChatGPT.
You're listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruz FM.
Starting things off, we finally have the answer to what are the lyrics to It's the End of the World as We Know It by R.E.M. In fact, Michael Stipe himself, the man who sang all of those lyrics and does know every correct one, has clarified some in posts on Blue Sky, even referencing The Simpsons, the joke of, I can even sing every word. No, you can, Mr. Simpson. No one knows the words. But, it's kind of a tough one to know all of the words, too. But thankfully, now it has been cleared up, and all of the internet websites and sources for lyrics have been proven to be just wrong, leaving all other lyrics in question.
Leonard, what's his name? Herman Munster motorcade, birthday party Cheetos, pogo sticks and lemonade, you symbiotic stupid jerks, that's right, Flanders, I am talking about you.
It's the end. Anyway, we've also got the return of Radiohead, just maybe. Now, it hasn't been an official announcement from the band. They haven't made a live performance happen since 2018. But there's been some posters, flyers, with dates and cities that people have found in the wild and been sharing online. London, Denmark, Madrid, and more. And dates beginning in the UK as early as November 21st. Looks like we might get an official confirmation in the near future. The Sex Pistols, meanwhile, having to postpone their North and South American tour. They were about to get started mid-September until member Steve Jones broke his wrist, leading them to share the news with the hilarious sentiment, God save the wrist. I'm sure that is exactly how everybody with tickets to those shows is feeling. I think maybe hang on to them, because it looks like they are planning to make good. That's it for your music news this morning. Where is our animation coming from? Nelvana is a company that has produced just so many incredibly classic pieces of Canadian and even just consumed across North America pieces of animation, TV shows, movies, etc. Just like my entire life. They've been around for 54 years, and now there's word, a bit of a rumor on the internet, a Reddit post in particular, saying that supposedly they've shut down their animation studios after 54 years, and that Friday of last week was the last day. Now, I'm trying to find some, clarified information. It doesn't seem like it's been refuted. It doesn't seem like there's any big major news stories about it, so asterisk, grain of salt on this. However, just to jog your memory as to what Nelvana has been a part of, this is just a very narrow cross-section of their entire library of things that they've put out. But, going way back to when I was a kid, Inspector Gadget, My Pet Monster, Babar, Beetlejuice, Tintin, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, Tales from the Crypt Keeper, kind of a weird show to turn into a cartoon, but they were doing it with everything back then. And so many other film adaptations too. RoboCop, Neverending Story, Ace Ventura, Free Willy, and on. But other ones that weren't adaptations, like Blazing Dragons, Sticking Around, Ned's Newt, Franklin, the first season of Clone High, which I can quote off by heart, The Magic Bleepin' School Bus.
Thursday.
We did it! We did it! We got bronze in one of the many categories for community votes. We hit the podium. I feel like the meme of that athlete spraying the champagne and having a whole victory celebration before, the view pulls back to reveal that silver and gold are just calmly looking down on him. But he just keeps on celebrating, as he should, like Jack White. That's how I'm feeling now. So thank you to everyone who voted, and for the nomination in the first place, and congrats to the rest of the winner's circle as well. We did it! Bronze, baby! 7:17, well, almost 7:18, really, truly, and now we are aware, now we know the exact moment of peak morning stress for parents during the school year, and apparently it's 7:16 a.m. I'm so sorry to catch you at such a bad time. I hope it went well for you. The good news is you're past it. You're over it. You made it. Absolutely take that with a grain of salt, because not only is the morning routine different for everybody, but this is another one of these so-called studies. It's just really a marketing poll of 1,000 people paid for by a company with a new pit stop style coffee shop to promote. So, I'm curious, what is the moment of maximum school day stress in the morning, though? Not in terms of the precise time of day, but more in terms of what actually tipped the scales, what caused the crash out. Kid can't find shoes, kid can't find the backpack, kid can't find anything?
Hey Alexa, play the Steve Reeve podcast.
Paris Jackson in the news because of a distancing of herself from the new Michael Jackson biopic that is in production. She says there is a lot of inaccuracy and there's full-blown lies, and she wanted to be left out of it. specifically saying that she at one point spoke up and wasn't heard, and then in her own words, bleeped off. 0% involvement is her connection at this point. The Gorillaz, I guess there's no real "the" in the title. Still, Gorillaz, they just played a mystery show, played songs from their Plastic Beach album, and then continued to share some songs from a new album on the go that might be called The Fall. 25th anniversary of the band, celebrations and all that. They're being a little bit mysterious, as always. So more news on the way. They're always big collaborators as well, so there should be a whole host of different people involved in that. Morrissey, somebody involved in almost never showing up to a concert that he's got planned on the schedule, says that now he wants to sell business interests in the Smiths, which he was, of course, a member of. Says he's burnt out now by any and all connections to Marr, Rourke, and Joyce. He would now like to live dissociate from those who wish nothing but ill will and destruction. All right, he's always the victim. And that isn't news, but that is your daily music news for this morning. Maple washing is a thing now. I'm learning about this. If a product is made in Canada, it will say so on the packaging, but you can't just look for the maple leaf icon. The labels are regulated, the labels themselves, but requiring a maple leaf somewhere else on the packaging is not part of it. Nor does any product not made in Canada have a requirement to omit the maple leaf symbol on their packaging. Basically, you can put it on there no matter where it came from, because there's nothing to say, hey, don't do that. But we're now noticing that there's a rise in packaging that aims to capitalize on this Buy Canadian sentiment, the wave that kind of hit over the past year. For example, someone dug up the fact on a pouch of walnuts from the brand Nutworks, finding that, oh, no, actually the walnuts came from the United States. The bag itself, the packaging, was manufactured in Canada. Oh, great. Yeah, we need a maple leaf on there for that. You know what's happening. They're just trying to skirt in under there. Sometimes you can see a label on the aisle, like on the actual shelving, saying made in Canada to make it a little bit easier for you. But double check the packaging if you are curious, because you never know. Just because there is that maple leaf on there doesn't mean it is a maple leaf product. And as well, just a reminder that McCain Deep and Delicious cakes are not only fully produced in Canada, so is all the packaging. So, you're safe with that one.
Friday.
Now we're going to play a game, a brand new game that's somehow everybody's favorite. Don't think about it too much. The game is Medieval Health Practice or TikTok Health Hack. I describe a home remedy and you decide if that is something invented by influencers in the modern age or a centuries-old remedy written in Latin manuscripts from between 600 to 1000 AD. How about a vinegar mask with wheat flour and oil? If you guessed medieval, well, you're right. Kind of makes sense. How about a year-long juice cleanse plan with a different juiced herb for each month of the year? Not as easy on that one, I think. Medieval, by the way. How about tying vulture feathers to a pregnant woman's legs to speed up labor? Okay, all right. Some of them are obvious. And then you've got remedies like drinking barley water to help with an upset stomach. That has been in many TikTok videos, giving you advice with oftentimes zero accreditation to do so. But yeah, that's been one that's shown up for sure. But traces straight back over 1,000 years ago to these medieval manuscript remedies. I find that very interesting. Maybe that one actually has something to it, after all. I mean, unless you've got a lead on where to find a dead vulture. I mean, then we're talking. We start with a hilarious story that's coming to us from Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. It's all about Nebraska. He, for years, had dodged questions and rolled his eyes when asked if there was an electric version, an E Street Band version of that album. And he said, no, there's nothing. No, come on, stop dreaming about it. And then finally decided to take a look in the vault, so he says in a new trailer for the Nebraska 82 Expanded Edition version of the album, that lo and behold, there it was, waiting for him. Not every single song from the album had an electric version of it. In fact, some of these additions to this special version of the album are going to be just demos, some of them with nothing but Bruce, which sounds ideal for fans of the boss. It's going to be available October 17th. Pre-orders on right now. We now know what the final project that David Bowie was working on was. He was very, very secretive in his room. Only he and his personal assistant had access until 2016, after he had passed away, and that was just after releasing some of his last music, his Black Star album, which dealt with his mortality. Now, an 18th century musical titled The Spectator has been unearthed, and in fact, a ton of the notes that he was collecting and of the things he was working on have been donated to the Video and Audio Museum and will be going together in a show that is going to be free to the public, at least for the very opening of it, here early in September. Not anywhere near here, of course. And in new metal news, Fred Durst has sort of confronted a social media star, a young drummer named Christina Rybelchenko, saying, "Hey, why are you leaking our new music?" Wink, wink. Guess what? We've got new music. It's very tongue-in-cheek. Kind of strange for Limp Bizkit, but then again, they just are. That's it for your music news this morning. New, final, maybe, I never really trust it when a franchise says they're putting out their last movie. Conjuring film is out as of today, officially released. I got the chance to go and see it, the original Conjuring movie, like 12, 13 years ago in San Diego while I was there for Comic-Con. Although I never did actually get a chance to see it. It was like a week or two before the movie actually came out, and we just got handed these, flyers. Hey, come check out a movie. Some of the stars of the film are going to be there and everything. Very cool experience. We got about 2 minutes into the film, and as soon as Ed and Lorraine Warren show up and talk about being demonologists, my girlfriend gets up out of the theater and bolts. And, we're in San Diego. I'm not going to just be leaving her to walk around the streets, so immediately I had to leave as well. The funniest part was that it was a pre-screening, and just outside the door, there was a representative from the company, the distribution, and they were marking down on a clipboard, things that they were seeing, anecdotes about the night, and immediately asked my girlfriend, what are you doing? Why are you running out? She said, "No, it's too scary for me. Too scary. Can't even stop. Gotta leave." And the biggest smile crept over that woman's face as she wrote down, "Oh, I think we've got a good one on our hands."
Transmission over. Want more Steve? New podcast episodes happen every Friday, or just tune into the Steve Reeve Show. Weekday mornings starting at 5:30 a.m. on 100.5 Cruz FM.